We have eBay, I have HSN, I have Target, and I feel like, oh, and Amazon, right? Those are our favorite, probably, that we our go-tos for delivery companies. And so I am going to share with you my favorites for the week, and then I'm going to close it out with my favorite food as always. So the first thing I'm going to share with you is I have been wanting a Chanel tabletop book for a very long time, so I finally just did it, and I haven't opened it yet. I kept the plastic on it just so I could share it to you first. So I got that one. Another item that I got from Amazon was before everything started with the virus, early February, when on my trip into New York, I went to a really nice perfume store. It used to be in the Village. And then several months ago, they moved to another part of the city, and I'm bad because I've never been to this part of the city, and I don't know what this section was called. Just say if you have the Village here, you have Chinatown here, and then so now they're on the other side of Chinatown. So next time you guys, when we're able to get back into the city, if you're looking for a really nice boutique type of fragrance store that have so many unique lines, and I end up choosing the one in Cart Gardenia. I loved it so much. I love this so much that I wanted a second one. And then at this point, it's the virus, right? So I went on Amazon to see if someone else was selling it, and I was able to buy it. So now I have two in my household. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way I do about a good quality room spray, but if you're looking for one, I definitely recommend it. I posted a video on Sunday, my very first live IG. So if it looks like a newbie, I was a newbie. So I thank you for all of you guys who did watch my very first IG live video with Miss Chandler the other day. We had so much fun doing that for you, and we're definitely going to be doing that moving forward. Like every Sunday at 3 o'clock, tune in to my channel, Journey with Jackie _ for IG. I'll link it there for you. And we're going to be doing a, our suggestion based on perspective of makeup and suggestions for my age group and her age group. I have been walking every day, and I've really been enjoying that. I just wanted some cute stuff too while I'm doing my walks. And I got this, which is brand new, tag still on it, and I got it at such a low price. And I thought it was cute, and it's by the brand called Equipment. But anyway, so I got that from eBay. Can never go wrong. And I see some other things that I like that I kind of got my eye on. So we'll see. I've always used like the recyclable bowls and containers and things like that. So, which has been just fine. Why not step up your food containers just to be a tad bit more cuter? So I got this set. I happen to be watching HSN, and when I tell you it is so cute, it's glass. And you can actually put it in the refrigerator, you can put it in the microwave, you can even cook it in things in the oven. And obviously it's dishwasher safe, and I thought the lids were so cute. The lids came in a beautiful like ruby red or this pretty turquoise color, and I thought the turquoise color was just so pretty. And then for the price, I could not resist, and I'm so happy I got it. So now when I open up my cabinet and everything, I'm like, oh, it looks so pretty. So anyway, let me tell you this. I don't know if anybody else loves this as much as I do. You think it's so pretty. I love it so much that this is why I started my channel. I just like to share everything with anybody. When I find something that I love, I got a deal, it's pretty, I like to share it. And so I am actually giving a set of these away myself. I went on HSN, they're on their way now, but I ordered another set for somebody who's watching right now. And all I'm going to ask you to do is jot any comment that you want below. And then what I'm going to do is it's going to randomly pick anyone who's left comments, and then I will announce that person next week. So I probably will make sure I announce the person next Monday. So I think that is May the 3rd or 4th. something like that. So anyway, May 3rd or 4th. And so please make sure that you have left any comments by Saturday, May the 2nd. Hopefully you will love it as much as I do. So anyway, so that was my HSN find. Now, everything I have left is from Target. For me, typically, I don't know about you guys, and maybe you can give me some other suggestions, but typically the changeover, my spring and my summer things that I change are my pillows, my picture frame. I wanted some new frames to change up in my one little sitting area, and so I actually got these 2 frames from Target. I sort of put them together myself because I was looking for something that was going to complement each other. This one is a wood distress look, and then this one is a really matte silver, brushed silver. And so I'm going to show you now what I did. And so you can see I changed them out with my family portraits, my niece and my nephew, who you guys met before when I did the Celine perfume review. I'll link that for you above there. And so that's them, and then a picture of in memory of their dad. Here's the other thing, right in that same area, you've seen these black chairs before, and so I end up changing out the pillows in the chair. I used to, in the fall and the winter, I have like these dark brown pillows in there, and so I actually purchased these from Target to sort of like liven it up and give it a little bit a lighter feel for the spring and the summer. So I was able to change up that one little sitting area with the pillows and the picture frames, and I just thought it was nice. And the quality of the pillows and the picture frames are just so nice. I thought you cannot go wrong. And then the last few things I got from Target are clothing. I got at 50% off. It's like, yes. I got this sweatshirt mini dress. Just wear it around the house now if I want. If I have to go out for something, I could still transition it and wear it over like tight jeans and throw in some leggings. I still think that would be cute. Obviously, we're still a little chilly here on the East Coast. And another thing I got, because I am walking every day too, is a sweatshirt. It's very soft and very warm, so I don't think you're going to go wrong with that. And then the last sweatshirt I got from them was this pretty lime green. It's a swing crop sweatshirt. And in a future lookbook, probably next week, I'm going to share with you guys the reason why I got this one is because I really wanted a pretty lime green sweater. I saw it on eBay from another brand, and it was like kind of on the expensive side. I'm like, oh, I don't think I want to spend that. And so then I saw this on Target, and I thought, okay, this will definitely give me the look that I'm going after, because I have my lookbook in my head that I want to wear. So when we are able to go out like that first week, I'm going to be ready. So the last thing I want to share with you I got from Target is overalls. I know you're probably saying, doesn't she have overalls already? Yes, I have overalls, but here's how I justified it from these from Target. First of all, see how thin the strap is, right? Because my other overalls, as you can see, they're like that, the standard width, and they look more like traditional overalls. But I thought this was more like a little feminine feel for overalls. And then here's the other reason. The bottoms are cut off. Yes, I could cut off my own, but why would I do that when they fit just so nicely? So I thought that was cute. That was different about my other ones. And then if when you go online, you're going to see the model has them more of a fitted look as an overall. For me, I don't like wearing my overalls like that. I like wearing them very loose, like farmer overalls. So I actually got mine in a size 12 because I wanted them really loose. Now, my last thing I'm going to share with you, I'm going to close out with, is my food item. Okay, so I thought I'm going to bring Starbucks to me. I got the Tazo chai tea, and I got it in the skinny version. As you can see, it's the latte. So they do have the traditional, they have the skinny latte version, and then they have the decaf version. So if you like to make iced chai teas like me all the time, that's what I do like to buy at Starbucks a lot. Definitely try it. So as you can see, I'm going to make it for you now. I just blend a little of the concentrate. I'm using my oat milk. So typically I use either oat milk or I use almond milk, your preference, doesn't matter, or regular milk, whatever you decide. And then I do throw in 1 Splenda because I do like mine on the sweeter side. So instead of adding more of the concentrate, I thought it would be better just to add 1 Splenda. I throw in my ice, and voila, I have my version of iced chai tea. And the cool thing is you can make it as a warm, hot, which I do sometimes at night, or you can make it as ice. If you guys have not done so already, earlier when I asked you, make sure you subscribe right now before you leave me. I look forward to seeing you in a few days. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you so much, and thank you once again for all of the feedback on my last video and my IG on Sunday.